Thornhill, and I am a family law attorney, and I have been practicing nearly 20 years here in Central Florida. Today, we are here to answer your questions of is Florida a mother state? Florida is not a mother state. However, just like with both parents, moms have certain rights and dads have certain rights. We first want to distinguish between a married mom and an unmarried mom. Because if mom and dad are married, then mom and dad are on equal playing field, which means mom has just as much right to the child as dad has. Dad has just as much right to the child as mom does. That's if mom and dad are married. If mom and dad are not married, then mom does have a few more rights than dad does until dad goes to court and gets those rights. So let's focus on unmarried mom. So when mom gives birth to the child and is still in the hospital and the nurse comes in with the birth certificate, mom can tell the nurse what dad's name is or cannot tell the nurse what dad's name is. If dad is present, dad will sign the birth certificate, and if he's not, he won't. If dad does sign the birth certificate, then there is a presumption that dad is the biological father because that's what he's signing on the birth certificate. However, that does not make him the legal father of the child to the unwed mom. So when mom leaves the hospital with the child, she is the only legal parent who has rights to the child. So when mom and dad are still together and dad says, I'm going to take the child out to McDonald's or to the park or to see my parents, mom at that point can say no, and dad is without the right to say, oh yes, I'm going to take the child, or I'm going to call the cops. Because if law enforcement were to get involved in that situation, dad has no legal right to the child at that point. On the flip side, if mom does allow dad to take the child to his parents or wherever he's going, or doesn't allow dad to take the child, and dad still takes the child, then mom is the only one of the two parents that can request the court for an emergency pickup order. That pickup order, once it's signed by a judge, will go to the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office will go with mom to dad to go pick up the child. On the flip side, if mom were to say, no, I'm not going to allow you to take the baby anywhere, dad doesn't have the authority, jurisdiction, right, power to go to court and ask the court for an emergency pickup order because he is not a legal parent at that point. So at this point, mom is the only legal parent. So she can move wherever she wants to go, just make decisions for the child, school decisions, medical decisions, daycare decisions, who the child sees, who's the child around, the ear piercing decisions. All of those decisions are mom's at this point because there is no legal father. If mom were to go and apply for government assistance, Medicaid for the baby, Medicaid for herself, cash assistance, WIC, or anything like that, if she were to apply for government assistance, the first thing that the Department of Revenue asks is who's dad. And when mom gives over dad's name, whether it be on the birth certificate or not be on the birth certificate, or mom might say, I think it's this guy, or I think it's another guy. As soon as mom gives over a man's name as the father, the Department of Revenue files a petition to establish paternity because they want to, the Department of Revenue will give mom that cash assistance, will give mom that government funding. However, they want dad to be on the hook for child support, and they assume that if dad was paying child support, that mom wouldn't need that government assistance. So if mom is ready to start handing over those rights to dad for time sharing, visitation, decision making, and all of those things, well, getting on government assistance is a sure way that that's going to happen. If mom does not get on government assistance and just stays to herself with her child without dad filing anything in court, or without mom filing anything in court, mom is the only legal parent. We're talking about mom and dad being unmarried. Mom has all of the rights. So mom has full custody at that point. When she files the petition for paternity, or dad files the petition of paternity, that's when mom and dad go into a custody battle, custody issue, or a custody needs to be addressed at that time. If mom has custody of the child and has 100% visitation or 100% time sharing with the baby, when dad files his petition for paternity and wants to establish him as the legal father in order to get those rights of custody, visitation, time sharing, child support obligation, at that time, that's when custody comes into play. So how can a mother win custody? By doing the right thing, by putting her child first, by making sure that her child's needs are met. Because if dad wants custody and 100% of visitation, or wants to remove the child from mom, then dad's got to show why mom is not what's in. She can't provide for the child. She doesn't have a bed for the child. She doesn't have a car seat. She maybe is on drugs. She is an alcoholic. Maybe she has a mental illness. So if these things are something that dad can bring up in order to get custody from mom, then dad's looking at it as, well, this is in the best interest of my child to make sure that my child is safe, then the court is going to pay attention to that. Well, of course, a stay-at-home mom can win custody. Whether a mom is working full-time and the child is either in school or in daycare or with family, with grandma, while the mom is working, or if the mom is a stay-at-home mom and is there and available for her child, of course she can have custody of her child. The question is she providing for her child? So is mom a stay-at-home mom thinking, okay, well, dad's going to pay child support, so I don't need to work? Well, that's not necessarily providing for your child. But we also have to consider, is your child special needs? Do you have to be at home with your child because maybe your child has therapy, physical therapy and occupational therapy and speech therapy and doctor's appointments? If your child is special needs, then sometimes it's not realistic to have mom at a full-time job and then having to take off all of the time to take the baby or child to all of his or her appointments. So mom has chosen to be a stay-at-home mom, and maybe she works out of the house. Maybe she sells Mary Kay. Maybe she's supplemented by government assistance and by child support in order to provide a safe environment for her child who is so special needs she or he can't go to school. So I think every situation is a little bit different depending on what the circumstances of your child and the necessities and the needs and the situation that your case calls for. And it's very important that you know your rights as an unmarried parent versus a married parent. Thank you, and I hope this answered your question, and I look forward to speaking with you again.